What happens when the love of your life betrays you? For Greg Watson, it was more than just a broken marriage, it was the beginning of a fight for his children's future. When Greg found out about his wife's infidelity, he didn't just face heartache, he faced a web of lies, legal battles, and a new reality that would challenge everything he knew about trust. Watch the story unfold as Greg takes on the hardest challenge of his life, all while discovering a shocking truth that could change everything. San Roque's life and legacy have captured the hearts of countless people across centuries, making him a revered figure in Catholic history. Born into a family of wealth and prestige, his life seemed to carry a divine promise from the very start. At birth, a cross-shaped mark appeared on his chest, which many believe to be a sign from God, indicating the holy mission he was destined to fulfill. This mark would serve as a constant reminder throughout his life of the sacred calling he would come to represent. As a young man, San Roque's life was marked by a deep sense of compassion and selflessness. He became known for his acts of charity and his fervent devotion to God. His piety was evident not only in his personal prayers and devotion but also in his actions toward the poor and sick. It is said that he would often travel across towns, caring for those who were suffering from diseases like the plague, offering both physical and spiritual care. His reputation as a healer grew, and people began to seek him out, not just for his medical knowledge but for his kindness, patience, and unwavering faith. But San Roque's story is not without its challenges. As his life continued, he found himself in dire circumstances. In the midst of his charitable work, he was struck by the very plague he had worked to heal, and his reputation as a healer paradoxically led to his isolation. His caring nature was misunderstood by some, who feared his condition might infect others. Cast aside and abandoned by those he once helped, San Roque faced his suffering alone. Yet, it was in these moments of hardship that his faith was tested and refined. His belief in God's plan for him remained unshaken, and he continued to serve others, even in the midst of his own pain. His canonization was a testament to his holiness, and his life continues to inspire those who seek to live with courage, faith, and compassion, even in the face of life's most challenging trials. Through the centuries, San Roque's story has become a beacon of hope for many. His life teaches us that even when misunderstood, even when abandoned, there is still purpose and meaning in the suffering we endure. In the face of adversity, San Roque did not falter, instead, he embraced his mission with unwavering faith. His life serves as a model for those who seek to live with integrity, compassion, and devotion to God, no matter the challenges they may face. San Roque's legacy is not just one of historical significance but a living testament to the power of faith to overcome even the most trying circumstances. His life continues to inspire millions, reminding them that even in the face of betrayal, misunderstanding, and hardship, one can remain true to their calling and achieve a higher purpose. His story is a profound reminder that through suffering and faith, we are all capable of achieving holiness, and that the love and compassion we offer to others can leave an eternal impact on the world. As we reflect on San Roque's life, we are reminded of the importance of serving others, not for recognition or reward, but out of pure compassion. His dedication to helping the sick, the poor, and the marginalized is a call for each of us to look beyond ourselves and offer our time, energy, and love to those in need. San Roque's example shows us that acts of kindness, no matter how small, can have profound effects on others, and in turn, on our own spiritual journey. Moreover, San Roque's life is a reminder of the power of faith in the face of adversity. When the world turned against him, when the very people he had helped turned their backs on him, San Roque continued to trust in God's will. His resilience and unwavering faith in God's plan for him were key to his holiness. This calls us to examine our own faith, especially in times of hardship. How do we react when faced with challenges? Do we give up, or do we trust that, like San Roque, there is a greater purpose to our struggles? Additionally, his story compels us to reflect on the nature of true healing. San Roque's work as a healer was not just physical but also spiritual. In a time when medicine was rudimentary and often ineffective, his compassion, prayer, and service were the true sources of healing for many. In today's world, where we often focus on the physical aspects of healing, it's important to remember that emotional and spiritual healing are just as crucial. San Roque's story challenges us to consider how we can help heal others, not just in body but in mind and spirit as well. The story of San Roque ultimately serves as a profound reminder that holiness does not come without sacrifice. His life was marked by personal loss, isolation, and hardship, yet through it all, he remained steadfast in his faith and his mission. This speaks to the importance of perseverance and trust in God's plan, even when it seems like the world has turned against us. San Roque's legacy challenges us to live with purpose, to offer our lives in service to others, and to trust that, through our struggles, we are being shaped into the people God intended us to be. His story continues to inspire countless individuals to live with love, faith, and devotion, striving to follow in his footsteps and embrace the holy calling placed upon their lives. And as we look ahead, we realize that San Roque's life and his message are more relevant than ever. In a world that often seems driven by self-interest and individualism, his example of selflessness and service calls us back to a life rooted in compassion and love for others. San Roque's legacy reminds us that no matter our station in life, no matter the challenges we face, we all have the potential to live out a higher purpose and leave a lasting impact on the world. It is through love, faith, and service that we can find our true calling and, like San Roque, make a difference in the lives of those around us. Thus, we continue to honor San Roque, not just as a historical figure, but as a model for living a life of holiness, compassion, and unwavering faith, inspiring us to embrace our own sacred callings and make a difference in the world. His legacy lives on, not just in the pages of history, but in the hearts and lives of all those who seek to follow in his footsteps. Understood. Let's proceed with expanding the content based on your instructions. Here's an expanded version of the section, including a deeper exploration of the key issues, examples, and analysis. In the complex web of human relationships, infidelity often brings not only emotional pain but a deep sense of betrayal that can reshape the future of those involved. For Greg Watson, the discovery of his wife's infidelity was an abrupt and devastating revelation that altered the course of his life, and not just emotionally, but legally and socially. His personal journey from this discovery to the emotional and legal repercussions of his actions provides a rich narrative of trust, betrayal, and resilience. The narrative begins with an unsuspected medical diagnosis that seems disconnected from the turmoil unfolding in Greg's personal life. After a routine visit to an urgent care clinic, Greg is diagnosed with gonorrhea. The doctor, cold and clinical in his demeanor, tells Greg that the cause is an STD, and that his wife should be tested as well. This stark revelation is the first sign that something in his marriage had gone terribly wrong. It is a difficult moment for Greg, one filled with confusion and disbelief, as he processes the information, struggling to connect the dots between the medical diagnosis and his wife's seemingly flawless behavior. As the situation unfolds, Greg confronts his wife, Marissa, with the diagnosis. The truth, however, was far worse than the disease itself. Marissa's infidelity was not only a betrayal of Greg's trust but also a betrayal of the values they had shared throughout their marriage. In a family that was raised with strict values and a focus on faith and love, the breach of trust was not just personal, it was a blow to everything they had built together. For Greg, the sense of shock and disbelief was compounded by the fact that his wife had been leading a double life, one that had remained hidden from him for years. This revelation shattered his sense of identity and his understanding of his marriage. Greg's emotions were a roller coaster of anger, sorrow, and confusion. The emotional conflict was evident as he faced the fact that his wife had been unfaithful with multiple men over the course of their marriage, including during the time they were raising their children. The affair was not just physical, it was a betrayal of the family unit and the life they had promised each other. This kind of betrayal raises difficult questions about the nature of love, commitment, and personal integrity. How could someone who had pledged their life to you go behind your back and act with such disregard for the shared values you held dear? The complexity of the situation was heightened by the fact that Greg had no idea that Marissa had been hiding such a significant aspect of her life. Their children, Lisa and Ginger, had begun to notice the changes in their mother, even if they didn't understand the full extent of what was happening. The family, once united by love and mutual respect, was now on the brink of breaking apart. The children's awareness of the betrayal was both heart-wrenching and illuminating. They were witnessing the collapse of a family they once believed to be unshakable. What followed was a tumultuous journey through medical and legal complications. Greg's search for the truth was driven not only by the need to understand his wife's actions but also by the necessity to protect himself and his family. As he navigated this emotional storm, he was forced to confront the stark realities of divorce and the legal consequences of Marissa's betrayal. His decision to seek a divorce was not just a response to the infidelity, it was a response to the broader disintegration of trust in his marriage. Greg knew that the emotional ties that once held their relationship together were now irreparably broken. As Greg began the legal proceedings, he turned to his family for support. His parents, who had raised him with strong values, were heartbroken by the situation, but they stood by him as he faced the difficult decisions ahead. The decision to pursue a divorce was not easy. Greg grappled with feelings of guilt, anger, and sorrow, but ultimately, he understood that he had no other option. The emotional cost of staying in a marriage built on lies and betrayal would have been far greater than the pain of moving forward with a divorce. In the midst of this emotional turmoil, Greg's journey took an unexpected turn. He discovered that his wife had been secretly accumulating a substantial amount of money, hidden away in a bank account under a different name. This discovery added another layer of complexity to the divorce proceedings. Marissa's financial deception raised serious questions about her intentions and motives. Was she planning to leave Greg all along? The more Greg uncovered, the more it became clear that his wife had been planning her escape for years. This realization was another bitter pill for Greg to swallow. The legal battle that followed was not only about the dissolution of their marriage but also about custody of their children. Greg knew that the court system often favored mothers in custody battles, but he was determined to fight for his daughters. His love for them was unwavering, and he knew that his bond with them was far stronger than Marissa's. As the days passed, Greg prepared for the legal battle ahead, gathering evidence and preparing to face his wife in court. But he also knew that no matter what happened in court, the emotional scars of the betrayal would take much longer to heal. Throughout the process, Greg's emotional journey was intertwined with moments of reflection. He thought about his past with Marissa, their marriage, and the life they had built together. He remembered the days when they were happy, when their love seemed unbreakable. But as the layers of betrayal peeled away, he began to see the truth. What he had once thought was love had turned into something else. It was a sobering realization, one that forced him to reckon with the fragility of trust and the painful process of moving on. The confrontation with Marissa at the hospital was another key moment in Greg's journey. Despite everything that had happened, he remained composed, determined not to let the emotions of the situation cloud his judgment. The divorce papers were served, and Marissa's reaction was one of shock and regret. But for Greg, the decision had already been made. The emotional toll of the past weeks had been immense, but he knew that it was time to move forward. The chapter with Marissa had closed, and a new one was about to begin. As Greg processed everything that had happened, he also reflected on the lessons learned. Betrayal had shattered his world, but it also offered him a chance for growth and healing. The pain of the divorce and the betrayal would never fully disappear, but it would no longer define him. He began to rebuild his life, focusing on his daughters and the future. It was a painful journey, but it was also one of transformation. In the end, Greg's story is not just about infidelity and betrayal, it is about resilience and the ability to rebuild after life's hardest moments. He learned that even in the face of overwhelming odds, it is possible to regain one's sense of self and move forward. His path was not easy, but it was his own, a path that would ultimately lead him to a new beginning. This version has been significantly expanded, adding depth and analysis to the core themes, with examples and emotional insights throughout the narrative. In conclusion, the journey we've explored throughout this article sheds light on the profound complexities and emotional turbulence that can arise from unexpected events. These narratives not only reflect the deep personal experiences of individuals but also point to universal truths about trust, betrayal, and the human response to crisis. From the painful shock of infidelity to the tumultuous steps towards healing, the stories presented offer us a powerful reminder of the resilience and strength inherent in navigating life's most difficult challenges. At the heart of these experiences is a powerful message about the consequences of deceit, the importance of self-respect, and the necessity of facing uncomfortable truths. The situation with Greg Watson, for example, highlights the devastating impact of betrayal on a relationship that once seemed stable and secure. Marissa's actions, driven by a pattern of deception, not only shattered her marriage but also disrupted the lives of her children. The gravity of her choices served as a catalyst for a painful, yet necessary, process of legal separation and emotional recovery. The future, however, holds a potential for growth and renewal. While the aftermath of infidelity is undeniably painful, it also opens up avenues for self-discovery, personal empowerment, and the rebuilding of life on one's own terms. For Greg, this period marked a critical turning point, where the clarity of purpose and the desire to protect his daughters became his driving forces. His pursuit of custody, while not without obstacles, represents a commitment to providing his children with a stable, loving environment, free from the toxicity of betrayal. Looking ahead, it is crucial to consider the broader implications of such personal upheavals. As Greg moves forward, the process of healing will require not only emotional strength but also a strategic approach to navigating the challenges of single fatherhood. The support of his family and legal counsel will continue to play pivotal roles in his recovery, helping him focus on what truly matters, his daughter's well-being and his own emotional stability. The importance of forgiveness, too, plays a significant role in shaping the future. While Greg's journey is far from over, his willingness to accept the emotional toll and his eventual pursuit of emotional freedom may ultimately lead to a more fulfilling and balanced life. His decision to seek reconciliation, not only with his daughters but also with his sense of self, offers hope that even in the darkest of times, there is potential for personal transformation. This journey also underlines the complexities of human relationships, particularly when betrayal enters the picture. It is a stark reminder of how trust, once broken, can lead to an irreversible shift in one's life. However, it also highlights the resilience of the human spirit. For Greg, his quest for justice and his determination to shield his daughters from further emotional harm illustrate the lengths a person can go to in order to protect their loved ones. The emotional and legal battles he faces as a father are not just about securing custody but about ensuring a future where his children can grow up in an environment rooted in truth, love, and respect. The key takeaway from this story is that while life may throw unforeseen challenges our way, we possess an innate ability to rise above them. As we navigate our own challenges, let us keep in mind that, much like Greg, we too have the power to emerge from life's darkest moments with renewed strength and purpose. The key is not to let the weight of betrayal and loss define us, but rather to use those experiences as stepping stones toward a brighter, more fulfilling future. As time passes, it is essential to remember that the healing process is not linear. For Greg and his daughters, each day presents new challenges, but also new opportunities for growth. They may have suffered from the wounds of betrayal, but they also have the power to heal and find peace. And while Greg's relationship with Marissa may never return to what it once was, the love he shares with his daughters will be his foundation, the one constant in an ever-changing world. Moreover, as Greg's story illustrates, sometimes the most painful decisions lead to the most empowering outcomes. By taking control of his future, he not only redefines his life but also sets an example for his daughters on the importance of self-respect, integrity, and the courage to stand up for what is right. This story serves as a reminder that even in moments of profound crisis, there is room for growth, healing, and new beginnings. It encourages us to embrace life's challenges, knowing that they are often the catalyst for the transformation we need to become the best versions of ourselves. Looking forward, the path ahead may be filled with uncertainties, but it also promises new opportunities for love, self-discovery, and personal achievement. Whether it's rebuilding a life after loss, navigating the complexities of single parenthood, or finding a new sense of purpose, the possibilities for growth are endless. And just as Greg has learned, we all have the power to shape our futures, no matter how difficult the journey may seem.